How's it going, everybody? Jamie here, and I'm gonna do a video on relationships. So for me, growing up as a kid, as a child, I was taught, like 4 years old, weed the garden, wash the dishes. And so I did, and learned to disobey. I ran away every single day, and I got grounded every single day. I wasn't allowed to go out, and parents, being very loving and kind, didn't know what to do. And one day they gave me a spanking, probably after months of this, maybe years. Apparently that stopped me. I don't remember too well because I was process of learning, of an evolutionary field of exploring and adventure and understanding. My energy couldn't be contained. I just had to do everything. I was climbing trees. I was 30, 40, 50, 60 feet up in the tree when I was like 6 years old. I never fell. I was so in tune with my physical body, and that is a lot of how relationships go. You become first in tune with where you're best feeling at, and then share it, and that's it. Relationships at a core. Now, if you're in a complete disarray, depression, anxiety, fear, cycles of panic, then you have to slowly find a way to slowly expose yourself to where you're feeling good, and to really allow who you are slowly in other environments, other relational environments, physical. And you're going to align and connect with people that are in the same feeling and thought state, emotion state that you are most easily. Now, getting to a different level of relational experience or emotional intelligence requires you to experience the things that you might be afraid of to get that emotional intelligence, to go through failing until you like hit something, like anywhere, everywhere, like you hit like something good, successful, impactful. That is going to begin to allow wisdom to take place. So if you're in a religious mindset, Phariseeism, a spirit of Phariseeism, a spirit of fanaticism, or constant fear or judgment, self-judgment, then you're hitting a area where you're going to connect with those people, and you're going to reaffirm and realign your beliefs by the people you connect with. And that's your association, once again finding your tribe, so your relational level. And so getting up to a higher level means, for yourself, for more wisdom or understanding of who you are, it means experiencing the crazy, the deep, the fear, the parts in the most extreme way with discipline to be able to understand how somebody else might feel a different way. So it's just how many experiences that you have. And then you can share. And if you have too much to share, you find yourself talking too much, it's because you're probably a really sophisticated, intelligent, and advanced, or at least mentally, and not enough emotionally or relationally to more experiences. So you begin to lose your edge of judgment. The more gray that you look for, the more gray you're going to see, because everything is love. Everybody has a reason. Everybody has a motivation, whether it's good or bad. The bad experience creates learning. The good experience creates learning. So that's the dichotomy of knowledge, of light and darkness. So your mind's eye, which is your intention that you hold to get through those times, is best defined through principles, through the Bible. So once again, aspects or measures of comparison to your experience. So we're spiritual beings, ideological, logical, emotional, instinctual, physical, even the electromagnetic field that we are and have as human beings, even electrically receiving signals. So nonverbal kind of communications that we can see, micro expressions of people's faces, hitting our system, our emotional and mental system, creates a place where you have your own process, your sovereignty as an individual, your heart and your mind, to act, to intend, and then create. And harder and deeper and more dense and negative and wild and confusing ideas and principles and principalities and understandings and philosophies and things begin to expand based on the experience. So the wisdom. So the action part is the concept of faith. The action in the actual moving into the physical world on those ideologies and going into a complete state of belief will allow you to dig deeper into the subconscious patterns of your actual emotions and thoughts and behaviors relating to relationships and the people that you and how they act in your life. And those will create different perspectives, and then more measuring and comparison. So more study and research, more knowledge. You have to talk, and you have to learn of all the cults, the different religions, the different behavioral patterns, and physics. This is combined fields of knowledge. So you have to look at how physics plays into this, especially the physics of the human body, the anatomy. So the electromagnetic field is like a donut shape. It's around us in a toroid. It's like a donut shape. And then up in the center is your spine and your all your hormonal glands and organs. It's the endocrine system that creates through I call it the bioelectromagnetic field, because the biology of your body and the proteins and their electromagnetic fields and the intelligences in the atoms manifesting through you are also processes of electromagnetic kind of processing of scales of magnitude. So you're talking about scales of frequency. Now, with scales of frequency, what you're trying to discern is light. There's the 7 colors we can see, and then X-ray, infrared, ultraviolet, all these things we can't see. And you're also discerning sound. There's this much we can hear, and there's all these other ones. Radio waves, those are sounds. I think microwaves, scalar waves, FM band, AM band, and stuff way higher and lower than the human range of hearing, and atomic weight frequencies. So even the atoms themselves are creating sound. But the ideological capacity to perceive these frequencies as information, actual intelligence, is the process of the physics, of the biology, of the anatomy of the human body, all combined fields of knowledge to understand how even photons themselves embed themselves in our DNA. So when we're in fear, so 1,000 photons of light can sit inside of a molecule in your DNA, and you've got like billions and trillions of little photons. And when you're in fear, you're shedding photons or light to another human or another being, as if it were like, because part of a survival system, an evolutionary system. Let's say there's 50 guys, and 49 of them are in fear. One's in like confidence or courage, has a healed kind of energetic body, a central nervous system of some way of overcoming a solution or a problem, and the aspect that they see in their heart and mind, and they will see it, and then they'll create it because they are existing in their being, and they're acting as the one, the confident one. So they acted first and then got the information surrounding or detailing the aspect of his environment. And so this is principles of spirituality, and how once again cults, religions are formed, and thought forms, ideology, different schools of discipline. And so the relationship aspect of this is taking on your own healing, your own emotions, and your own feelings and thoughts, and study and discipline in the mind, and learning, and all these things to create something in the world. And so once again, if you're in your mind, the energy is being locked up in here, and those are the people running. It's the Phariseeism, and it's because at that time they can't handle it. It's a level of being able to embody certain different experiences. Maybe they're not connected to their heart space, or don't know how, through schools of consciousness or schools of learning, how to let their heart lead, and to expose themselves more and more. Some people haven't done the work, some people have. And so you can see, as kids sometimes are just like, wow, way out there, and they just explore and learn really fast. Or you can see some who are just nerds, or really, it could be products of self-consciousness and all these other emotional kind of energies that are inside your electromagnetic field, especially with regards to morality being a physics question, because morality itself is within the hormonal system and how we perceive our relationship with another person. And so if we act in a way that's not good, then we have a measure of fear and guilt and shame, and we'll say that that's not good, but what is actually there? So there is more principles that can be found to discern and govern those emotions in ways that produce impact or results, because bad events are learning experiences, and good things, that good feelings, and those are learning experiences. And so the relational experience between humans is really closely regarding or relating to especially timing of who we are at that time, it will take us to where we go based on who we are. And how much are you daring to learn? How much are you daring to explore? Or how much are you daring to adventure, to create? Your potential is what you created. And the beauty of that is that in the raw, and the visceral, and the scary, and the wild, you can be a better benefit to people. Approach, every situation tactfully, and be defensive, and to go slow, and be genuine and nice with yourself, and also to be genuine and nice with others. As you begin to learn more emotional, you'll realize that they have very different. I always try to not produce hurt, but healing. And so I go into these negative kind of feelings, and then I allow whatever knowledge and everything I've done to produce insight. So you can't go into insight unless you experience the illusion. You can't go into truth unless you experience the lies. You can't go into love unless you experience the grief. So you've got to experience these dark things to be, or have, or hold a greater measure of capacity of love, truth, and insight. And there's more. Willpower, right? It's blocked by shame. So to go into the shame, to get your willpower back, to pleasure is blocked by guilt. To go into the guilt, to get your pleasure back. And that is the actual doctrine of repentance. It's defining consciousness. It's defining reality. And at the very basic, which is the lowest part of your magnetic field, which is they also call it your root chakra, but it's your lowest, in the different knowledge and studies, like Freemasonry, there's electromagnetic field, or a Western philosophy kind of approach to putting science to it, where the electromagnetic field receives electrical stimuli, so then it sends electrical signals to your brain. But at the base of your spine, where that central nervous system is, the way in which you survive is social circles and power cycles and power struggles within your social circle. And that's the central nervous system, the root chakra, which will be responsible for producing the feelings related to certain situations. And so you have survival on one side and fear on the other. So survival is blocked by fear. And so people think that surviving is running away from the fear. But the measure of intelligence and knowledge that you can gain from going into the fear is going to provide a greater level of survival and more confidence and trust in yourself, based on whatever you're running away from. Those are traumas, could be PTSD, whether it's fear. So there's this all the chakras, all the systems, and each one has a truth, right? So fear, survival, guilt, pleasure. So this one's for everybody. This one's for you and your partner, your wife, or however you express yourself. But the third one up is you, your core, one, singular. And it's got an order to this. As I go up, I'll show that each one that's higher, it could be significant that one is more important than the other, or not. But willpower, yourself, blocked by shame, is a core energetic concept, especially with the gut biome and like your endocrine system, your hormone system. up and down your spine. And breathing gestates processes which clear out possible electromagnetic resonances within this field. The more you gestate the process of the electromagnetic field through the spine and the fluids, salts, proteins, and enzymes in your spinal fluid, salts, proteins, enzymes, going up and down with the breathing process, gestating this field, clearing out possible electromagnetic resonances. And so I call it the bioelectromagnetic field, because it's connected to your atoms and their electrons. So I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but willpower is blocked by shame. Grief, love is blocked by grief. That's definitely related to your actions with people. So your families, even growing up as a kid, I look at those and I'm like, even though I was like 7 years old, I'm still trying to repent for change of the emotions, for things that, you know, no slipping there, like an accountability to know who I am, and to get to a place where I feel good that I've been doing the good things, repenting, doing the right things. And then you get to your truth and lies. Sometimes people can't speak in certain situations based on the level of knowledge that they have to channel through, and the level of heart. The whole process, the whole thing is blocked by things that you haven't logically justified or emotionally justified. And so these two are the actuators, your mind's eye and your heart's guidance, is the two processes that will, your throat is right in the middle of your speech, your who you are comes out between these two. And so truth and lies, and then this here is your mind's eye. So there's insight and illusion, and then at the top is cosmic energy, which is actual photons and actual scalar waves, sounds, frequencies, waves, physics, through the process of breathing, its concepts, its teachings, its principles, and actual like governance and governing, and like dominions and everything that we can understand, intelligence, light, information. And cosmic energy is blocked by ego. So we can use ego for survival, which is the principles, the harsh judgments, the rules that we place upon ourselves that block the actuality of, because our mind's going to prepare, is going to receive what it prepares itself to receive. And the heart is also the doorway to unlocking what your mind is going to receive by using, you can use either your mind to believe and go into this imagination, which could be separate from the actual world, and it can create things depending on the state of belief or psychosis or how far you go out. If you're doing crazy drugs, you could get to an area where yeah, I don't know, at least that could exist. I mean, everything you can imagine exists. It's probably in another dimension or something, or in another reality, or you know, it could be like magic and fairies and crap in other dimensions, and could be of course angels. We experience angels through frequencies. So they're beings of sound and light, and that's contained, I think. So this is a concept, but angels as light beings, or light bodies of intention, of pure energy that can exist in higher dimensions and be able to communicate through the word, which is physics, which is geometries of sound, which can show up as feelings and thoughts. So the basis of science is created to on the concept that we have a heart and a mind, and there's some measure of organization or intelligence. And so based on that precept, we now have a whole load of research, which is everything science, everything math, everything physics, everything biology, everything. And then we can't get to the insight of those information and knowledge without going through the illusion. So that's where rules do get broken and have to be broken. That's a standard of process of evolutionary learning. And that could have been the concept of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. If we were just stuck in other higher dimensions, we wouldn't experience the dichotomy of expansion. It's just conscious expansion. I don't want to put a good term or a bad term, like a good label or a bad label, on certain events or information or things that happen in people's lives, even in my own, because the bad thing could be the setup for the good thing, just because we have to experience the bad thing to know what the good thing is, period. And so relationships is an expansion of consciousness, and then we learn things like virtue and respect, and this is just philosophy, and they don't really teach it in school, but so kids just kind of learn without having a map, and that's kind of a good thing sometimes, and it's kind of a bad thing, but who can really define that until we define what consciousness is and put a structure that every process or every system of experience and experiencing light and knowledge and relationships in a free way